Let's talk breaking broken cards. A few weeks ago I did my first video in this series with Freezer Burn, and today I will be covering Maximum Overhaul, which will be legal 1 week from today. So I'm not going to do it quite the same as Freezer Burn because of course there's only one character in which this card is fundamentally broken, and that's going to be Overhaul. Not that other characters can't use it, but Overhaul is definitely going to be the main character. And this is definitely a preliminary look at this card and how we can further break it, but I'm not pretending to have all the answers with this card quite yet. I'm sure that's going to take a few months or weeks of seeing how this card is played and everybody's different deck lists that they have. But I have been seeing some slander in the community towards this card. So I've seen things on the Discord, and these are all by players that I really respect and I value their opinions very much. But I have seen comments like, this card is super mid, I'll end up cutting it, repeated is better, feels like it's going to be awkward. I've had a growing sense that it's not that good in Overhaul. So not everybody in the community is sold on Maximum Overhaul, and quite a few, especially of the great Overhaul players, are saying that maybe it's a little overrated. Is this correct? And I don't think so. First of all, let's only look at the stats. Let's just not consider the effects beyond stats on this card. If we think back to my Is This Attack Good video that I did a few weeks ago, I said that I judge a attack's stats by speed plus damage plus the effect speed and damage plus stun multiplied by 1.5, since stun is a little better than speed, and then I divide it by the real attack difficulty, which is adjusted for effects, right? So an A tier would be 3 plus stats per difficulty on the attack. And, you know, right in between the B and C tier would be like 2, like a 4 diff, 4 mid for 4. That would just be a typical attack. That's like C plus tier. And that's nothing really to be amazed at. But if we are getting over 3 stats per difficulty, that's an attack that we should be playing in our decks. Let's look at Maximum Overhaul and Overhaul. How does this stack up? Well, it's a 4 speed, it's 5 damage, and then if we pick up 3 face down foundations, it's an extra 3 speed and an extra 3 damage. That is 15 stats. And 15 stats divided by 5 minus 1, because this isn't really a 5 diff, because you're building a card ready from your hand, right? So you're going to pick up 3 committed face downs, and then you're going to build 1 ready face up. So really this is a 4 difficulty attack, not a 5 difficulty attack. And that means we are getting 3.75 stats per difficulty. How does this compare to other attacks? It's insane. This is Texas Smash level of stats. I mean, these cards are similar, and Maximum Overhaul doesn't even need you to combo. It doesn't need you to discard a card. It just needs you to play it from somewhere outside your hand, which Overhaul's going to easily do, or a different attack from outside your hand before it, and then pick up some face downs. And now you have a 7 low 8 on a 4 diff. This just stat-wise, not considering how we're going to be using these effects, just stat-wise, this is Texas Smash level of an attack. It's incredible. All right, but just having good stats doesn't make this card a broken card, because when I talk about a broken card, I mean a card that cheats fundamental core game mechanics, right? So when we looked at Freezer Burn a few weeks ago, it was cheating because it had repeatable cancels on it, and you could just never let your rival do anything. How does Maximum Overhaul cheat the game? Well, one, we're drawing from our stage. You know, there have been people calling for Hardened Jab to be banned and removed for the meta, basically since I've been playing the game for the last year. I have heard several people, pretty prominent in the community, calling for Hardened Jab to go, or saying that they would wish Hardened Jab would go, but that they know it won't be banned. But Hardened Jab only pulls 1 from your stage into your hand. Maximum Overhaul is pulling 3. So, you know, this is a triple Hardened Jab. And we are also getting a free face-up build, no check necessary during the turn, for just straight from your hand, face up. And guess what? That's not just the foundation. You can build a character from your hand. You can build of course you wouldn't build a character if you're Overhaul and it's an Overhaul enhanced, but you could build an asset from your hand. And it doesn't matter what difficulty it is, it's just going to go straight to the stage. So, you know, you had a 4 diff League of Villains, you just get to build it right on the spot. So there's 2 fundamental ways that this attack is breaking core game mechanics. And how are we going to take advantage of this? Well, if we're drawing from our stage, our first thought is let's draw attacks. And we have attacks like Hardened Frenzy, which if they completely block it, you're going to build it face down, and then you can play your Maximum Overhaul and pick it straight back up and play it again. We have Hardened Claw Crusher, where you can build the top card of your discard pile face down, and of course there's going to be all sorts of ways to make sure that the top card of your discard pile is an attack. Like if you're on the evil symbol, you could have like floating, you know, and remove the top 3 until you get to an attack. I'm sure there's going to be tons of different ways people find. Or you have Overhaul foundations like Reconstruction and Hand of Confession to build in attacks. This is building in attacks from your card pool, and this is building in attacks from your discard pile. And then we also get all of Kirishima's kit, pretty much, right? Hardened Jab, Hardened Chop, Red Riot, Unbreakable, where we're building from our deck, and hopefully we're building an attack. It's not going to be as consistent as these 4, but it goes along with the strategy. All right, we don't have to draw attacks from our stage, right? It doesn't have to be a setup. We can also either use Maximum Overhaul as a finisher, or we could use it to play good defense, because we could just draw 3, right? If we're at like 10 foundations, or if we could build ourselves, we could pick up cards to get out of deadlock, or if we're at 10 foundations, we could just pick up 3. We're picking up the committed ones, and now we're set up for defense. And we could pick up our 0 and 1 diffs and then just play them again. And basically all we did was we used Maximum Overhaul to unflip these. So we could unflip cards like Internship with Best Genius and then play it again and force them to flip again. We could pick up a face-down Manly Passionate guy, build it, and now we have a face-up Manly Passionate guy, or like a release if our opponent had flipped it from our stage. Anyway, we could just build these and get ready for defense, or we could pull up, 1 block modifier cards and get ready to defend too, and get ready to block. So Maximum Overhaul doesn't have to be this great finisher or this great setup card. It can also just help Overhaul play defense, because fundamentally you are drawing 3 and you're doing it selectively, not randomly from your stage. So you can really get yourself ready to defend. And this might be a huge deal for like Evil Overhaul, who normally doesn't get to draw. Well, Evil doesn't get a ton of draw. All right, then we also get a free face-up build. And what are some cards that immediately come to mind on building? Well, that's assets. We can just, for free, throw in a Twisty Surroundings late in the game, right? Twisty Surroundings, a lot of times, sorry, my crutches are sliding all over the place. Twisty Surroundings, a lot of times feels like an early game card to build, and then late game you're just using it for breaker because it's hard to build after two or 3 attacks, because now you're playing it on a 5 or a 6. But with Maximum Overhaul, you just throw it in your stage. League of Villains, Coda, Airy if we want to defend. Coda's kind of cool because as soon as you build it down, you can lose 1 health and give your low attack 1 speed and make Maximum Overhaul an 8 low for 8 instead of a 7 low for 8. We can also build in like a carbo loading. So, we can have used a carbo loading, readied it, used it again, flipped it for damage, picked up the carbo loading, play it, now it's ready, and do it all over again, and we could have used 1 carbo loading 4 times in a turn. We could also use cards like Pull No Punches. We could even just immediately build it in if we're on a punch package, destroy it and add a punch to momentum. Or we can build in cards like Rescue Completed. We also can just basically use this to unflip a foundation in our stage that we want to use again, or that's extremely powerful. So for example, like Sticky Balls, if we're on a lethal attack string, we could use Sticky Balls early in the attack string. Whenever we use Maximum Overhaul, pick it up, and then we're going to free build it down, and we're going to use it again. We got to use it twice in 1 turn. Or if we're setting up for defense, cards like Cooperation Offer would be and Wall Cling would be nice to rebuild face up for free. Looking for a challenge on offense would be very nice, because you can use this bottom enhance, commit flip, your next check to play a block with an attack is +2. Then you can pick it up with Overhaul, and then you can build it, and then you can use it again. So basically, looking for a challenge with Maximum Overhaul could count as 4 foundations in a single turn. You could use cards like Apathetic to further selectively flip our opponent's stage, or League Invitation to selectively commit our opponent's stage twice in 1 turn, or cards like Prehensile Tail to pull momentum back to our hand twice per turn, or even to use this Deadlock Enhance twice. Right? We could use the Deadlock Enhance, give a throw, commit it, and then flip it to give extra damage for Overhaul, and then we could pick it up and use it again if they're in deadlock, and that is just a killer Deadlock Enhance. And then what about progressive difficulty, right? That's the downside of Maximum Overhaul. It needs something to have been played from outside your hand during the combat phase. And so, normally you're playing this as your third or fourth attack, and then it can be hard if you're picking up attacks to play more attacks. Well, there's quite a bit of different ways we can get around this. One really cool way on Earth is just to use Reciprocal Acceleration Kick, throw our kicks into our momentum, and then play Maximum Overhaul. And now we only have 2 cards in our stage. Or like the life list gets repeated 100% smash, so you're not clearing your card pool, but you are just readying your stage over and over again. We get these 3 cards, which aren't really probably that good, but I thought I would include them, right, where you're throwing things into a momentum or removing from our card pool. Pull no punches on the Earth Punches list, and the future is pretty fun on Life Overhaul to get one last attack in. All right, let's look at some fun combos. We talked about how we can break Overhaul. Okay, so Maximum Overhaul is incredible stats. It has 2 game-breaking mechanics, and there's a ton of really fun things that we can do with those game-breaking mechanics. So in the last hour, I've just kind of brainstormed a few different combo lineups. These probably aren't the best. They're just what came to my mind. If you have any really cool, fun combos with Maximum Overhaul, please throw them in the comments because I absolutely love this card and I want to see everybody's combos. And I'm going to be playing a ton of Maximum Overhaul. I'm not a big fan of Overhaul the character, but this attack, I just absolutely have to be playing decks with it. So the first combo is, just like I said, you can use Hardened Frenzies, and then if they do completely block your Hardened Frenzy, you get to build it down, and you're going to get to use it for a Maximum Overhaul later. If they don't completely block it, then it stays in your card pool. Then you can just play a Reciprocal Acceleration Kick from your stage, clear your card pool, and then play a Maximum Overhaul from your hand. You still get this enhance off because it just says if a card has been played from outside your stage, from outside your hand this combat phase, and then you can, pick back up your other attacks. So this just seems like a very, very neat. This is like the Earth version of repeated 100% smash. Another fun combo I was thinking about today is like you could play a Tongue Whip, stuff your rival's card pool. You could then use the Sticky Balls, stuff their rival's card pool. Now your Tongue Whip is basically a 6 low for 6, right? We're going to follow it up with a Hardened Crusher. If we have a Hand of Confession in our stage, we're going to use Hand of Confession. We're going to build this Tongue Whip down committed. We are going to follow it up with a Maximum Overhaul from our stage, so we're playing it on a 5. We are going to pick up this Tongue Whip, and we're going to pick up this Sticky Balls, which both should be face down foundations by now. Face down committed foundations by now. And then we are going to build the Sticky Balls for free. We're going to use it again, and then we're going to play that Tongue Whip again and use that. So in this turn, we have used this one Tongue Whip and this Sticky Balls twice each. And so even without our rival blocking, they have 4 cards in their card pool. This last Tongue Whip is coming basically for 8 damage. In Overhaul, we know this is 10 damage. So we've had a 6 damage low attack, which is basically 8 damage in Overhaul, right? 8 damage low attack, 10 damage low attack, 8 damage low attack. Our rival's not living this turn. Or sorry, 10 damage low attack. So 8, 10, 10. Right? And this is all just from one Tongue Whip and one Sticky Balls built down. I didn't have to draw 2 Tongue Whips to do this. Very, very cool card pool clog move on Evil. Another one is on Earth. If we are playing like Piercing Thorn Lances, we could go like Maximum Overhaul as a starter. Piercing Thorn Lances, we're going to throw this into our momentum. If we have a Prehensile Tail built, we're going to use the Prehensile Tail, pull this back into our hand, and then we can play another Piercing Thorn Lances and put this Piercing Thorn Lances into our momentum, and then we can play a Maximum Overhaul that we took back here, and we are going to pick up this Prehensile Tail. We're going to build the Prehensile Tail. We're going to flip it. We're going to take this Piercing Thorn Lances back into our hand, and then we can play the Piercing Thorn Lances again and put this into our momentum, and then the cycle goes on. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't go on because your Prehensile Tail's flipped at that point, but you turned 3 attacks into 5. And one of these 2 needed to have been played from stage, of course, to pick up the Prehensile Tail. But you can see the combo. There's something here with Prehensile Tail. I know there is. I couldn't come up with anything better than this, but there is something here with Prehensile Tail and Maximum Overhaul getting to pull momentum back into your hand. Somebody smarter than me could probably figure some, like, game-breaking cycle, where you just keep going for forever unless your opponent has something to stop it. You could do like a life thing like this, like back alley haymaker into a heroic strike, into a repeated smash. Just go ahead and play it on a 7. Then you could play this repeated smash from your stage. By now you've readied 7 cards if you needed to. Now you're going to play maximum overhaul on a 9. Your whole stage is ready, so this isn't a big deal. So if you check a 5, look, commit 4 foundations, you're going to be picking 3 of them up. Right, so play this one on 9. Now we're going to play the futures now, give our next thing 2-2. Then we're going to follow up with this tongue whip. Or, we could even do another attack. Then the futures now, then follow up with something. Like, there's something here. Of course, this particular line required us to draw a maximum overhaul, repeated heroic strike, and a back alley haymaker. I mean, these 2 attacks could be anything. I just filled them in just for the example, But of course, we're getting this one from our stage with maximum overhaul. We're playing this one from stage. So you can just do bonkers attack strings like this. Okay, if we wanted to just flip our rival's entire board, I just thought something like this would be funny. Like, and this one, you start out with seizing the advantage, going to Hardened Crusher. Now they're flipped twice. This is built down. Then we can play maximum overhaul from our stage. Let's say we had an apathetic in our hand. We could just build it down for free, flip a rival foundation. If we had 2 internship with Best Genist, we're going to pull those back into our hand along with this seizing the advantage back into our hand. So now all 3 of these are in our hand. Then we're going to go seizing the advantage again into a hardened jab, build this down, of course. And then if we picked up these 2 internships, we're going to play these internships. So now in this turn, by the way, we've only played 4 cards from our hand, seizing the advantage, hardened crusher, apathetic, and hardened jab. So we're a 6-hander. We played 4 cards from our hand. Hardened jab draws us 1 from our stage. So we still have 3 cards in hand. So we're ready to defend. And we just flipped 6 rival foundations in this. Just nuts. I think Earth Overhaul absolutely loves internship with Best Genist. Force your opponent to flip something good, and you're just going to flip internship with Overhaul for the plus damage, and then max Overhaul, pull it back into your hand, and keep just, Overhaul has lots of face down foundations, and if he's going to play like that, he's going to force you to play like that too. So that's a fun combo that we can do. So these were 5 fun combos that I came up with. What are some combos that you can come up with maximum overhaul that are either just fun or incredibly, incredibly powerful? Remember, just by itself, this attack is a 7 low 8 on a 4 diff. That is Texas Smash levels of stats, right? Because Texas Smash is a 4 high 3 that then gets you 4 damage and 4 damage. So that's 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3. That's 15. That's the same as a 7 low 8. They're exactly equal to each other on stats alone, but then also maximum overhaul is allowing us to do all of these crazy, crazy combos, and I'm sure there's way better combos out there that I've never thought of. So if we're thinking about overhaul now, this is how I would say overhaul now, right? He's in his first form today, and first form overhaul has already won 2 straight RLEs. That's where we are. Well, this is overhaul right now. He's currently ingesting maximum overhaul. 1 week from today, he'll have maximum overhaul fully ingested, and then this is going to be overhaul next week. He's going to be final form, and we are all done for. So this is how I would say overhaul players are right now, and this is us. Personally, I think maximum overhaul is it's a broken card, and overhaul just breaks it too easily, and overhaul's a broken character. So we have a broken character getting a broken card that is only basically usable by the broken character, and they're going to combine to destroy us all, and all hope is lost, and we are not ready. We are not ready for maximum overhaul next week. So we can all just react like Denethor and, abandon your posts, flee for your lives. It's over. Overhaul's winning every RLE and Nationals from here on out until something is done. Or we can react like, Saruman or Gandalf to this reality. We can be like Saruman the White, and the enemy is too powerful. We must join him, Gandalf. Or we can act like Gandalf and stand up to it against all odds, and try to win. We'll grab our Mirio and we will try to be the hero and take down Overhaul. That's what I like about this season. We're doing this Undaunted Raid is the anime arc of the season, and it feels like we are in the Undaunted Raid anime arc. We are actually playing out the arc, right? We are in that section of the arc where it looks like all hope is lost and Overhaul is just too powerful. So we need to band together as heroes and find out how to take this guy down, because next week he is only leveling up. And that is going to do it for today. Those are everything that I could think of off the top of my head for Maximum Overhaul. I'm going to be doing a ton of playtesting with this card over the next few weeks, and I suspect it's going to be a ton of fun. Again, if you have any really cool combos, I would love to hear about them in the comments below.